Hey there, math fans. Test 13, Lesson 2. Grab your swords.
So today we're going to add a ray to a line to make a given angle and calculate percentages.
We'll start by adding rays to lines to make a given angle. A ray is a line that's coming off another line to make an angle. So this question asks me, add a ray BD so that angle CBD measures 45 degrees. This thing here just means that the ray, this symbol tells me it's a ray, and this tells me that it's going to be called BD. Now if I look at this line down here, I have A, B, and C, no D. So I'm going to need to make my line BD. That means I'm going to start it at B, and wherever I go to will be called D. But I'm not just making the line. I want to make sure that angle CBD measures 45 degrees. So for that, I'm going to need to use a protractor. So I'm going to put the 0 on the line like that. And then I need to make sure that my new ray is going to measure 45 degrees. So I'm going to start at the dot and put it to be 45 degrees. So you can see on the protractor there that I've got it up to 45 degrees, and then I'm going to label this ray D, and I can get rid of my protractor, and there you have it. I've made a ray BD so that angle CBD measures 45 degrees. And I know it measures 45 degrees because I just used my protractor to measure it. There it is. So here's a similar question. It's asking me to add a ray BD so that angle CBD measures 110 degrees. So once again, I have a line ABC, and I'm going to start at B to make the ray BD, and it needs to be 110 degrees. So I'll move this over. And now that I've got that, I can start at 0 and make my line, or my ray, so that it goes over 110. Go. I'm just going to move it down a bit so that it's right. Then I can move my protractor over, and I can label this line D. And there you have it. I created a ray BD so that angle CBD measures 110 degrees. Now I have another one down here that asks me to add a ray AE so that angle BAE measures 35 degrees. So this time my ray is going to start at A, and wherever it goes to will be labeled E, and we want for angle BAE, which will be this here, to measure 35 degrees. So once again, I'm going to start at the middle, and I'm going to go 35 degrees. There's my ray. You can see I measured it so that it's 35 degrees. I'll move my protractor out of the way, label that ray E, and now I have ray AE to make angle BAE measure 35 degrees. And that's really all there is to it. When you're asked to add a ray coming off a line, it just means they want you to measure the angle and add your line coming up. Next, let's review how to calculate percentages and use that to solve a problem. So Felix bought a sweater on sale for 25% off. He also paid 5% in sales tax. If the sweater originally cost $45, how much did Felix pay? So the first thing I need to figure out is what was the sale price of this sweater. So the original cost was $45, and he got 25% off. So what is 25% of 45? Well, of course, I learned last week that I can do that by going 25 out of 100 equals, let's say, F for Felix out of 45. I'll do my cross multiplication, so 25 times 45, I'm going to grab a calculator for that. So it turns out 25 times 45 is 1,125, and that's going to equal 100 times F. So to figure out, using my fact families to figure out what F is, I'm going to go 1,125 divided by 100. That's going to give me 11.25. So I know now that 25% of 45 is 11.25. The sweater was on sale for 25% off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original price of the sweater, take away the 25% discount, and that should tell me the new price of the sweater. So the new price of the sweater will be $33.75, but I am not done because he also paid sales tax. What a pain. So we're going to have to figure that out now. So now that I know the new price is $33.75, I need to find out how much he's going to pay in sales tax. Now, there's two ways I can do that. One is easy but takes a while, and the other one is a little tricky to remember but is really fast. So I'm going to show you both ways. The long way is the way we've been doing. So to find out what 5% is, 5% is the same as 5 out of 100, which is equal to something, I'll call it T, tax, out of $33.75. I'm going to do my cross multiplication, so 5 times 33.75 gives me 168.75, and of course the other way gives me 100 times T. Fact families, I'm going to do my division, so 168.75 divided by 100 gives me 1.6875. Obviously, nobody is going to tell you that you owe them $1.6875 of a cent. So we're going to round. We're going to round the 8 up to a 9. So the tax will be, and I'm just going to switch colors so you can see it better. The tax is going to be $1.69 added on to the price. Then I just have to do some math to find out that this is what he paid for his sweater. That was the long, easier way. Let me quickly show you the short way that's a little more complicated. So the other thing I can do, and you can disregard this if it makes no sense to you, is realize that 5 out of 100 is also a decimal, 0.05, okay? Because it's 5/100ths, right? We could read this as 5/100ths. This is also 5/100ths. To find the new price, I can just put into my calculator 33.75 times 0.05, and I will get the exact same answer that I got before, which was 1.6875. Okay, this works exactly the same way. But if that's confusing to you and you are having trouble seeing the relationship between 5 out of 100 and 0.05, then stick to the other way. You could do it both ways too to check. So here's a similar problem for you to try. Diana bought a new lasso. It was originally $45. If the lasso was 25% off and the price included 6% sales tax, what did Diana pay? So give this question a try, pause the video, try the question, and when you come back I'll have the answer for you. So the first thing I need to do is figure out what out of 45 would be 25%. Now again, two ways to do this. I can do the cross multiplication, 100 times R equals 45 times 25, which my calculator tells me is 1,125. And when I divide that by 100, because 100 times R, I'm having trouble writing on this again. When I divide that by 100, I find out it is $11.25. That's one way I can do it. The other way is to recognize that 25 out of 100 is the same as 0.25 because that says 25/100ths. If I go 0.25 times 45, that too will give me 11.25. Either way, she's going to get a discount of $11.25. So the first thing I need to do is figure out what out of 45 would be 25%. Now again, two ways to do this. I can do the cross multiplication, 100 times R equals 45 times 25, which my calculator tells me is 1,125. And when I divide that by 100, because 100 times R, I'm having trouble writing on this again. When I divide that by 100, I find out it is $11.25. That's one way I can do it. The other way is to recognize that 25 out of 100 is the same as 0.25 because that says 25/100ths. If I go 0.25 times 45. That too will give me 11.25. Either way, she's going to get a discount of $11.25.
And here's your review for today. Laurel bought a sword. The original price was $103. If she got it for 50% off, how much did it cost, including 5% sales tax? And for number 2, copy the line below. Add ray BD so that angle CBD measures 30 degrees. That's it. Have a great night.